Caught intervening to help predators during federal investigations. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. The White House is facing a growing storm of scrutiny following allegations that senior officials intervened to influence federal investigations involving individuals accused of sexual misconduct and predatory behavior, a revelation that has sent shockwaves through political, legal, and public circles. Reports suggest that the interventions were designed to shield high-profile figures from the full force of investigative and prosecutorial actions, raising urgent questions about abuse of power, accountability, and the integrity of law enforcement processes. The allegations, coming at a time when public trust in institutions is already under intense scrutiny, have ignited debate over how political influence may intersect with the pursuit of justice in sensitive and high-stakes cases. According to multiple sources, the interventions occurred at critical junctures in ongoing investigations, with White House staff allegedly communicating with federal agencies, providing guidance, or pressuring officials in ways that could alter the outcomes of inquiries. Critics argue that these actions undermine the independence of investigative bodies, threaten the fairness of judicial proceedings, and compromise the principle that no individual is above the law. While White House representatives have denied intentional interference, the perception of favoritism toward high-profile accused individuals has fueled public outrage and media scrutiny. The political ramifications are immediate and far-reaching. Opposition parties and watchdog groups have seized on the allegations as evidence of systemic corruption, arguing that political considerations were improperly prioritized over the pursuit of justice. Congressional committees are reportedly examining whether official communications crossed legal or ethical boundaries, potentially triggering subpoenas, testimony, and legislative oversight hearings. The situation underscores the delicate balance between political influence and judicial independence, highlighting how even perceived favoritism can erode public confidence in governmental institutions. Legal experts weigh in on the gravity of such interventions. Federal investigations, particularly those involving allegations of sexual misconduct, are intended to operate independently of political pressures to ensure fair and impartial outcomes. Any attempt to influence evidence collection, prosecutorial decisions, or investigatory priorities can constitute obstruction or misuse of office, raising questions about potential criminal liability and the broader integrity of the justice system. Analysts note that even informal communications, if aimed at shaping outcomes, can carry serious legal and ethical consequences, making transparency and oversight crucial in maintaining the credibility of federal investigations. Public reaction has been swift and vocal. Advocacy groups, survivors' organizations, and legal watchdogs have expressed alarm over the potential undermining of justice for victims of predatory behavior. Social media campaigns and public statements have amplified demands for accountability, while protests and public commentary have underscored the intensity of the outrage. The perception that powerful individuals can receive preferential treatment in matters of sexual misconduct fuels broader societal concerns about equity, fairness, and the protection of vulnerable populations under the law. Media coverage has highlighted both the scope and the subtlety of the alleged interventions. Reporting indicates that actions ranged from private communications and advisory guidance to more direct efforts to influence decision-making within investigative agencies. The nuances of these interactions have become focal points in public debate, with legal analysts dissecting the potential implications and critics emphasizing the danger of even indirect interference in sensitive federal matters. The scrutiny has amplified pressure on the administration to provide detailed explanations, submit documentation, and cooperate with oversight mechanisms to ensure accountability. Internally, the alleged interventions have reportedly sparked tension within federal agencies. Investigators and career officials are said to have expressed frustration or concern over perceived political pressure, highlighting the challenges of maintaining impartiality when high-profile cases intersect with national politics. Internal emails, memos, or testimonies may become key pieces of evidence in determining whether undue influence occurred, raising the stakes for both the White House and the individuals involved. The unfolding scenario demonstrates the fragility of institutional independence when political interests are introduced into legal processes, emphasizing the importance of robust checks and transparency. Opposition politicians have leveraged the allegations to frame the White House as a protector of elites at the expense of ordinary citizens and victims. They argue that shielding accused individuals erodes the rule of law, diminishes accountability, and fosters cynicism about political institutions. Legislative responses could include hearings, oversight investigations, or potential reforms aimed at insulating federal investigations from political influence. These measures would attempt to reaffirm the principle that justice must operate independently, regardless of political power or status. The situation also raises ethical questions for current and former administration officials. Any participation in, knowledge of, or acquiescence to interventions on behalf of accused predators presents moral and professional dilemmas, as well as potential legal exposure. Transparency in revealing communications, motives, and actions is now a central demand from both Congress and the public, as the credibility of investigations and the integrity of institutions hinge on clarity and accountability. The tension between loyalty to political leadership and adherence to legal and ethical obligations is at the heart of the controversy, highlighting the complexity of governance in high-profile, sensitive cases. Victim advocacy groups emphasize that these alleged interventions exacerbate harm to survivors. Shielding alleged predators undermines efforts to provide justice, deters reporting of misconduct, and perpetuates a culture in which accountability is unevenly applied. Public discussion has highlighted the need for structural safeguards that prevent political interference from compromising investigations, reinforcing the principle that justice must be impartial and that systemic protections are essential to protect the vulnerable. Broader implications for governance are significant. If political influence can shape the trajectory of federal investigations, public trust in institutions, from law enforcement to the judiciary, faces erosion. Transparency, independence, and procedural integrity are central to maintaining legitimacy in democratic systems, and any appearance of interference threatens to weaken those foundations. The allegations thus carry ramifications that extend beyond the immediate cases, influencing public confidence in government and the broader perception of fairness in legal processes. In response, the White House has issued statements denying improper intervention, emphasizing adherence to legal protocols and respect for institutional independence. Officials have characterized communications with federal agencies as routine or advisory, framing them as part of standard governance rather than attempts to shield individuals from accountability. However, skepticism persists, fueled by leaked communications, whistleblower accounts, and ongoing media investigations, which have kept the story at the forefront of public attention and political debate. Legal proceedings, oversight investigations, and media scrutiny are likely to continue intensifying, with potential ramifications for both the accused individuals and the officials alleged to have intervened. Congressional inquiries may compel testimony from senior staff, document production, and rigorous examination of the boundaries between political guidance and improper interference. The outcomes of these processes will be closely watched as indicators of the administration's accountability, the independence of federal investigations, and the robustness of democratic norms in sensitive cases involving predatory behavior. The controversy underscores the persistent tension between political power and legal accountability. In high-profile cases, the proximity of influential individuals to centers of authority can create environments ripe for perceived or actual favoritism, eroding public trust. The allegations regarding White House interventions highlight the critical need for clear ethical standards, robust oversight, and structural safeguards that protect federal investigations from political pressure, ensuring that justice is applied equally, regardless of status or influence. As the story continues to unfold, attention will focus on the mechanisms by which interventions occurred, the officials involved, and the impact on ongoing and future investigations. Legal experts emphasize that establishing intent, documenting communications, and understanding the chain of influence are essential in assessing the validity and severity of the allegations. The investigation has implications not only for accountability in these specific cases, but also for setting precedent regarding political boundaries in federal law enforcement and prosecutorial discretion. Public debate surrounding the controversy highlights the broader societal stakes. Allegations of shielding predators strike at fundamental expectations of justice, fairness, and equal treatment under the law. Social discourse, fueled by media coverage and advocacy groups, frames the issue as a test of institutional integrity, questioning whether political power can override accountability or whether democratic norms will prevail in ensuring impartial investigations. The intensity of public interest reflects the emotional, ethical, and civic dimensions of the controversy, reinforcing its significance beyond immediate political calculations. Ultimately, the allegations that the White House intervened to assist accused predators represent a profound challenge to the principles of fairness, accountability, and independent justice. They raise urgent questions about the appropriate boundaries of political influence, the responsibility of senior officials to uphold ethical standards, and the mechanisms by which institutions can safeguard impartiality. The ongoing investigations, oversight efforts, and public scrutiny will determine whether the claims lead to tangible consequences, reforms, or broader debates about the relationship between power and justice in the United States. This controversy illustrates the fragility of public trust in institutions and the stakes involved when political considerations intersect with legal accountability. It emphasizes the need for robust mechanisms to prevent interference, protect investigators, and ensure that the pursuit of justice is guided by law, evidence, and ethical principles rather than political expediency. As developments continue to unfold, the nation watches closely, understanding that the outcomes of these allegations have the potential to shape governance, accountability, and institutional integrity for years to come.